Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for update 78 of Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades. We're going to start off as always with a quick sound check. Make sure your speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So what have we got for you this week? Well, usually after we do a big mode update, like Rotwieners last week, the update that follows is mainly about patching some things, sanding off some rough edges and corners, and getting to a few things that I basically tended to run out of time for. But we've got an extra new toy for you to start things off for this week. It's an absolute beauty. It's one of my favorite classic guns, and I believe it's been requested a decent bit. That's right, it's the Schofield Model 3. It's a top break, double action revolver, and wow, it is just a beaut. As I said, one of my favorites. It's quite smoky. This one is chambered in 4440. Classically, this is typically chambered in 45 Schofield to go with it. But 4440 has a bit more pep to it, and I wanted something of this sort of like era and look that was a little hotter than what we already had in terms of muzzle energy. So there you have it. Wonderful. And top break. Just I still love that mechanism so much. I will never tire of it. Wonderful. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Absolutely a beaut. Wonderful. So in addition to that, we've got a bunch of other sort of changes and little finishing touches on Rotwieners that I want to talk about and show you. So let's go ahead and jump over to that scene. So, the first thing is you'll notice that there's now an extra option here when creating a new save game. We decided to go back and add a tutorial character at the beginning to help get you settled on the various sorts of mechanics that are required for the mode, mainly obviously aimed at sort of new users to the game, but there's some great comedy writing in there, and so even those of you who have played it before and are starting a new save, whether arcade, hardcore, or standard, I definitely recommend you do it with intro turned on at least once just to experience it. However, if you have an existing game and you jump into it, it will essentially treat that character as though you had started with intro off, in that the character will be present, but you won't be gated in terms of what you're doing right at the beginning. Let's go ahead and jump in, though, and take a look at another thing that was added. So, another thing that was added is that I noticed that in sort of talking to various users that not as many people as I would have liked or expected have been using the power-up crafting system. And part of that is that the recipes are, frankly put, a little difficult to keep track of. And so I have built a sort of flags-based system for them so that as you grill them, you will permanently unlock details about what the various ingredients do. So if I come over here to one of our other new additions, I've put a convenient wooden puke bucket next to all of the crafting stations. Never gets old. So if we say take a tasty core here, grab 2 ketchup leaves, grab our weenie here, bring it over to our prepared grill, ding, and cook it. We not only get our power-up with its appropriate symbols on it, but you will now notice that up here it shows that a tasty core with 2 ketchup leaves make a health power-up, and that tasty cores give us low intensity power-ups, regardless of which type of power-up it is. So as you make more things, you will unlock more of this chart to be able to tell exactly what to expect out of that. So hopefully that should encourage more of you to play with the system. And I'm going to make sure that this chart is present at the various places that a grill is present. So hopefully that helps you folks out. There's a bunch of other changes that I've made to Rotwieners, but let's go ahead and jump out of VR to talk about those, just so we don't have to talk over the music and such. Yo! So what else do we have as changes? So the first big thing is some changes to the way that unlocks work in the mode. For one, the item spawner will be available all the time in arcade mode, whether or not you have beaten the game. Especially after speaking to a number of users that have like accessibility concerns and things like that, and can really only play the mode at all with freely chosen equipment, I decided to move that to being something that's present all the time and available in that mode, while changing the individual items that are unique to the mode into unlock rewards. So in terms of those, each of those items, I've added some things to the ending of the game in terms of when the credits pop up, and then in addition to that, you'll get this sort of page that tells you what you've unlocked based upon, without spoiling things, how your ending went, which difficulty you beat the game on, and whether or not you did a completionist run. There's 9 items in all to unlock, and each of them can be unlocked via beating at any percentage on the 3 difficulties, 5 different other criterion, and completionist for it. So, and that's if you do all of those, you'll be able to have in the item spawner in perpetuity all of the unique items from the mode. Let's see what else was changed that's important. A lot of bug fixes. One of the hidden quests has gotten a fairly significant modification to both require that you actually solve the quest and not brute force it, but also I've given you some extra clues, and the area that it takes place in is more expansive and hopefully more interesting and spooky and varied in its challenge. So I look forward to seeing, to hearing people curse my name over it. So some subtle improvements. The volume of the music now goes up and down based on whether you're in a conversation with an NPC or not. So this should hopefully make a couple of the NPCs with thick accents easier to understand. A few types of interactive buttons and items in the mode are more prominently so. Yeah, and then just a whole bunch of other random fixes and such. So not a huge update, but hopefully this was a sort of quality of life update for Rotwieners that I wanted to get out before I really felt comfortable with, you know, taking a bit of a break after this. So I need to recover after the past, not just, well, the past month, but really the past 6 months. So I'm going to be taking November a little bit lighter. Still going to be futzing with stuff here and there, but I don't have a exact date for you folks for when the next update is going to be, outside of like emergency patches and things like that, as I'm just going to be recovering and building up energy and, you know, creative je ne sais quoi for the holiday season. So anywho, I hope you have an enjoyable weekend. I hope you enjoy the new character who's actually voiced by one of our number, Adam, and is absolutely a scream. I feel a little sorry for that character. You'll understand why. So yeah, so I hope you enjoy the new stuff and continue to enjoy the Rotwieners mode. And I will talk to you folks all next week. Peace.